Hello YouTube. I would like to talk to you about tarot readers and their work ethic. A few years ago when I used to live in Britain and I was in a very difficult situation, so I wanted to see what's going to happen. I was actually left homeless. Someone tried to set me up for a crime, and it was very unjust situation, very unfair to me, and I was left on the streets. I didn't know where to go, where to get support, what to do. So I wanted to have some sort of an insight into what's going to happen. So I went to this tarot reading lady, and she had a good reputation. I mean, in my town, people used to say that she's the best. And I went to have this tarot reading by her, and instead of she was pretty accurate in what she said, but the thing is, she didn't show any sort of compassion towards me. She didn't give me any good advice. I asked her very clearly, how am I supposed to avoid all of this stuff that you're seeing now? Because she saw that this was going to continue, the difficult situation. And instead of actually giving me good advice and telling me how to avoid the bad stuff from happening, she said to me in a very cold-blooded way, she said, well, you will have to go through this, you have no choice, so you better do as I say, and because this is what the cards are telling me. And I was completely frustrated by this, because the way I perceive a tarot reader is someone who is supposed to be a coach or a counselor, like a life coach, the same way that you would go to a psychologist to get good advice. So they are supposed to be assisting you into getting over certain things, and they're supposed to give you the best advice as to what to do. But she didn't do that. There was absolutely no compassion by her. There was no sympathy. And the thing is, I could have avoided all of this stuff if she had given me the right sort of advice. And now, this is really bad work ethic for me. You're supposed to be some sort of a counselor. You're not supposed to read the cards in a cold way and actually accept the result. I don't believe in fate. I believe in destiny. And destiny is something that you make on your own. You carve your destiny yourself, which means that we can turn things around. We can have the desired result that we want as long as we apply the right tools, if we have the right knowledge, the right abilities to turn things around. And this is where is the purpose of the tarot reading. That's the whole purpose of it. It is not just to read cards and say, oh, this is the result that you're getting, so you will have to take it the way it is. No, I refuse to accept that. Okay? The way that I perform my tarot readings, I only read for friends and, just strangers. I just do it for fun. I don't really take money from them. But the way I do it is that I keep replacing the bad cards with good ones until I get the desired result. So I feel that this is the way that a tarot reading should be conducted. And if you cannot change the cards themselves, you can definitely be smart with, changing your way of thinking and trying to apply the best way that you can with your knowledge, with your abilities, with your, just being intuitive about it. That's the whole point of it. So I walked out of that lady's shop that day feeling frustrated, and actually I said, I can't believe I actually paid £10 for this just to hear someone saying that I'm going to have more problems. And she didn't give me any good advice. She didn't tell me what to do. I actually went through 2 whole years after that, really struggling to stand on my feet. I didn't know who to turn to and what to do because she didn't really give me any good advice. I suppose I could have turned to professionals. I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because of something shocking that happened to me prior to that. And I was too scared, I guess, to reach out to anyone. So I went through a couple of years just not knowing what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to go to find assistance. So, if you are a professional tarot reading, I strongly advise you to use compassion. If you are an empath or just a regular person, the first thing that you need to use here is sympathy, compassion towards your customer or whoever you're doing the reading for. This is the best advice I can give. The cards bring messages, yes, but the thing is, how do you apply those messages and how to use them and what to do with them? So, thankfully, there is a lot of good tarot readers on YouTube, and they do use a sense of compassion, and they always try to get the best result. So I do appreciate that. So be careful about where you're spending your money on, because there are some people that are not really going to give you the truth. And I feel that this lady was actually hiding things from me. She was hiding information from me that she didn't want me to know about, because that was a legal case that was against me and it was completely unfair. Well, the good news is that 9 months later, actually, the case was dropped against me, and I did find justice, because when I spoke to the police sergeant that day, it was like a blessing in disguise that happened for me when I was stopped by the police on the street. And they checked my details, and the police officer said, "Do you realize that you are on a warrant?" And I said, "Yes, I do know about this situation, but if you please hear me out, I didn't do this, I was framed for this." And he did listen to me. The case was dropped. Everything was fine. The people that did this to me have never actually been brought to justice, but that's okay, because I forgive them and they have apologized to me. But the thing is, I went through a lot of stuff. It took me years to actually get over that situation. And I suppose, I don't know, if I had the right support system around me, I would have recovered a lot quicker and a lot better. But I did make it on my own, So you might think that a tarot reading is just for entertainment, but it's not, because, it could have a really big impact on a person.